Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Get yourself a drink. This is a long game. Game number 2 between Hero and Innovation. I will be speeding it up because this game looked massive. I don't remember seeing a game this long, actually, when I was watching it live. So I'm kind of excited to watch this here. I don't quite remember how this went. Anyways, Hero is up by 1 game. Game 1 was very interesting, and if you are a protoss player, I suggest checking it out. Had a really interesting 1-base blink play, and I thought it was going to get stuffed horribly by 3 racks expansion out of Innovation, but just couldn't deal with the blink micro. So I'm actually very, very impressed. And therefore we are going to see kind of proxy racks here. It's not in a common scout path, I don't think. I think you generally go up the middle or around the right if you're scouting from the south to the north. This should allow him to get out some Reapers and get a little bit of damage. The unfortunate thing about Reaper play against Protoss is if they do get out a Mothership Core and a Stalker or two, it's kind of just shut down. So we'll see if Hero is going to be able to have the micro he needs to deal with what I'm assuming is just going to be several Reapers. Now this barracks is very early, so this Reaper is already almost done, and the Cybernetics score is not even halfway done. So I'm expecting it to at least get a couple of kills. Obviously that means there was some delayed workers on this side. That's part of the problem of going for this kind of really rushed Reaper play. Mothership Core is getting boosted out now. He's using the boost to get through. Oh, there's a Zealot out. I didn't even notice. Now that's really interesting. There's still more Reapers on the way right now. Stalker is on the way as well. And now he's just back into Marine. So he's just going to go with the 2 Reapers. Stalker has popped in the main. I'm pretty sure, is it not? No, it's already on the outside. This is kind of risky. There's nothing inside of the base right now for Hero to deal with this. The other Stalker is about to pop. But he might actually lose 1 or 2 workers here in the meantime. The other Stalker is done now. So these Reapers in all got just the 1 worker kill. And we're actually going to have a counter right now by Hero. He does have a few units out. With just a few Marines and no bunker. No bunker's on its way. Hero does see the bunker. All the damage he essentially does at this point could be considered permanent. A little surprised he hasn't run in with the Zealot and Stalker. I mean, it's not necessarily going to work that well if he does good micro and he doesn't get the SCV. But sometimes it's nice to just put on a little bit of heavy pressure there. Is he guys getting more kills? Ooh, a little bit of miss micro there. Hero lets those Reapers get away. Nexus is down. The command center is already almost finished though. So it's going to give us a bit of a lead for the Terran players. Only backed by 3 workers right now, and with a double mule soon to be happening, should be taking a pretty good economy lead in this. Reaper is still being annoying. Mothership Core is going into the main here. A little bit more of a scout. I mean, he doesn't want to get too far ahead of anything. Still only just the 2 kills here. Splits up the Reapers. Surprised he didn't attack anything with this. Probably just couldn't really focus well enough and loses 1 of the Reapers as a result. Mothership Core did actually kill something. Was that a worker? Looks like it did manage to pull off a worker there while it was kind of bouncing around. So we'll see what the plan here is. A couple more gateways and blink once again here out of Hero. I mean, it worked well in the first game. Now we've got 2 base blink. Maybe it'll work even better. Kind of surprised. The 2 base blink play that was like the hottest thing, you know, a month or 2 ago. The Terrans have really kind of found their way around it. Just like the 1-1-1 of old. People remember back to Wings of Liberty. They used to stomp Protoss players all the time. The 1-1-1 all in. And then they figured out how to stuff that. And then essentially going 1-1-1 was almost a death sentence. So now, if our Protoss player does decide to go for a very, very heavy blink play, we'll see if he does end up getting stuffed. Same instance. Take some smart movement here with Innovation. Predicts well where the Stalkers won't be. And comes in time to see all of these gateways being made and blink being researched. A couple more pylons are going to go down. See if this guy, I think he's blocked. Nope, he's still alive. Really doesn't like that Reaper around, I suppose. So he knows what's coming though. So we have the bunkers on the way. Stim's almost finished. Marauders are already out. I'm assuming Concussive might be getting started here pretty quick as well. And we have the Templar Archives happening with the Forge. So this Blink, he might not actually use it that offensively. What he might be able to do, I do love that little countdown thing you get on the side. What you might be able to do with that building is obviously have the opportunity to just force your opponent to really play defensive here. Bunkers going down. Actually focus on units instead of another command center. We don't see a bunch of Stalkers coming out right now for a Protoss player. So this is kind of a fake. Maybe if he didn't get scouted, it'd be different. Maybe he'd actually use it. But in this case, he's actually just using this time to get out the rest of the tech that he needs. Tech. That SCV was kind of doomed. So I wonder if Innovation feels he's been duped, if he's going to evacuate all of his bunkers and just push across here. He's got a huge army. Active forces. Army supply. Control A, that's what I want. There we are. Army supply is up by about 20. Though the worker supply is in the lead for the Protoss player. Army looks like it's ready to move out. The first two medevacs are on the way, and that's probably going to give him the flexibility he needs to put on a bit of an attack. Pressure the front, and then drop into the main. We can see that Hero's already ready for this kind of response. He does have High Templars. Storm just finishing up now for one or two of them. So with a really, really good engagement here, Hero might be able to very quickly neutralize that. Smartly, I didn't actually see this. Hero knocked down all the rocks leading into his base. That way he would slow down this push as much as possible. Phoenix does scout this. He knows that it's coming. More gateways going to go down. High Templars are all rounding out enough energy for the storms. Bingo. We have the +1 armor finishing up pretty quick. The charge is still a long ways off, but that charge armor upgrade and storm combination becoming very, very popular for Protoss players because it's so gas expensive to go really fast into Colossus. Even on 2 bases, it can take a while to get a lot of those out. The army is all 0-0 here. Oh, just hit that time warp a second too soon. But does get in a pretty good amount of damage there regardless. There is another time warp available. So we'll see if Innovation wants to rumble with this. I think this would be too difficult. I think that if he got stormed all to death there, he'd be a long ways behind. Hero is very well known for blinking ahead and trying to pick off medevacs. Charge is finished up. Not the best force fields there. Didn't really get too much of the army. But we see that Hero's actually taking the lead now. Scans. Nexus is going to go down. Looks like we're about to get base trading here. Hero's not turning around to deal with this. This Nexus is probably doomed. Pulling the probes. I mean, it sucks to lose the probes, but if you can keep the Nexus alive, the Nexus cannon's going to help out a lot. So many SCVs. Oh, man. It's interesting that Heroes actually spent a lot of his storms on the workers as opposed to the actual army there. Innovation is going to be picking up all the pylons here. There's only a couple of gateways still powered. We'll give him enough time for +2 to finish up from the looks of it. High Templars with no energy. On this side, it looks like he's finally going to get cleaned up here. We'll look at the damage in just a second. The fight's still happening. There's nothing that shoots up anymore. This Nexus will be finishing pretty soon. We'll see if these Marauders will be able to pick it off. Hero's got a few units and a few bucks. Archons are coming home. There's at least a lot of medevacs here for this army. This is going to be a pretty back and forth. Actually loses a Stalker and an Archon for that. High Templar's just about... Oh, he was at 73 energy. Just about at enough for a storm. Charge lots, once again, being as effective as possible. They can be kited, but at least they're getting in a swipe or two. Nexus Cannon's going to go down. I don't think that Innovation's going to be able to pick it off, but good thing for him is he's mining completely over here. If we look at the unit count, there's 2 SCVs and 6 mules mining for the Terran player. The next Archon does go down. There's still no anti-air in this, it's just Marauders left. So the Mothership Core is just kind of having free reign. The medevacs are almost all completely out of energy now. Marauders will cut through stuff pretty fast. Unfortunately, if we look at the income is actually pretty good right now for Innovation because all of his mules have been dropped. But he's getting no gas, and now he drops down to 1,000 less income a minute than his opponent. And he's still building units behind this. He's pretty all in. He's not been producing any SCVs as a part of this. Looks like the Mothership Core will go down, which is too bad. See if he can get this Nexus here. That'd be a pretty big win for him. Medevacs are starting to go down though. This army is getting weaker and weaker. Yes, it is picking away, but the +2 armor versus just the +1 attack. It's working out very good on these Zealots. Another medevac goes down. Army supply, Innovation's still up by about 11. And he has the cost effectiveness of kiting with his units, but the stim is just killing all of his bio. He's gonna get it. He does snipe that Nexus. The last medevac goes down now though. Not likely gonna see much more stim out of our opponent. Another medevac is on the way. We still have a Nexus at home now. Let's see if Hero's going to be able to save up for another Nexus, or if he's going to want to build more defending units. He's actually building a probe. So let's look at the total units now. It's 4 SCVs. He's making 2 at a time, and he does have double mules to drop. Income-wise, it's about even because there's 4 mules mining at once right now. But there's still 35 harvesters to 6. Mothership Core is getting remade. More stalkers, not stalkers, zealots. It's kind of interesting. I would have expected Hero to try to go more on the economy side, but I like him pushing across. If he can go and at least threaten his opponent a little bit, what he might be able to do is get him to stop making attacking units here. Great high ground position, but he can't really hit this little bit of the choke. Couple zealots going to sneak their way in. Just going to bounce around a little bit here. This is a pretty precarious spot right now for Innovation. His Nexus, his command center here is pretty beat up. He might be able to grab this with the Archon helping out. Nice pickup, hot pickup there on that Marauder. He's not pulling anything over to repair this. There's the first one. It's down to... oh, that is really bad for Innovation. Way too late on the recovery of that. We'll lose a couple units on the way out, but Innovation's almost in another all-in again here. He lost another one of his command centers. Not the best storm. It hit a few things here. He's got some medevacs so he can stim once again. That was a very weak force field. Looks like he's going to pull a few zealots just to delay this army as long as he can. And he saves the rest of his army to come back home where his Nexus is going back up. He has at least one storm available. The other one will be ready in a couple seconds here. Same with this other High Templar. So he'll have 3 or 4 storms ready when this army makes it to him. Again, the medevacs are pretty hurt for energy. And Innovation has stopped making SCVs once again. Time Warp Storm. Most fantastic of all storms. It's nice to have this factory here. What this factory will actually do is hopefully deflect some of the ranged shots. This is gutsy. I thought he was going to drop the army. Like, that makes no sense to me at all. More stalkers now being made. He wants to use that blink and try to pick off these medevacs. Medevacs just kind of being funky, bouncing around a bit. Nexus is about to finish up. If we look at units, it's 33 probes to 4. Oh no! Is there a pylon? There is still a pylon down here. Innovation did not take that out on his way by. Is that the last SC? That is the last SCV. There's a mule to cast. This is really, really interesting. Innovation's not giving up on this. There's the GG. Fantastic. That was a really funky game. Really great play there. Out of hero. SeKo Starcraft, thanks everybody for watching. We're going on to game number 3.